The Huntsman Winter's War.
That's what it's called?
Right.
The Huntsman Winter's War. Is Snow White in the title still?
No.
Okay,
so
good.
this is the sequel to Snow White and the Huntsman.
Oh my gosh.
But this is The Huntsman, Winter's Possessive.
Oh, Winter's War.
Yes, Winter's War. The war is the Winters.
Welcome to the dialogue where movies are more than mindless entertainment. Now, jumping into this week's movie. So, you don't really have to watch the first movie in order to get the plot of this movie. It has this massive exposition at the beginning.
Done by Liam Neeson.
Which improves the quality a little bit. A little bit.
I can listen to that guy's voice. I'm just saying.
Get him on audiobook. But basically the movie follows the Huntsman, who's played by Chris Hemsworth. His character has lost his wife in a previous instance that took place prior to the first movie. Mm-hmm. And now he's kind of left in his lonesome, trying to figure out what he's supposed to be doing. And the magic mirror from the first Snow White and the Huntsman movie is still at large. And so he's having to track that sucker down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's this movie, you know?
Little Indiana Jones action?
A
little bit.
I don't know if you want to go that far. I don't know.
Hunting for the artifact, no. So when I got to the theater, I didn't really know what to expect. I heard a few people say some things negative. I didn't hear exactly what they said.
Okay.
So I'm kind of just in here wondering what's going to go down. And one of the first things I see... Well, the first thing I hear is Liam Neeson's voice, which is great. But the first thing I see in this little montage of like flashback things is they show like a little flashback of Kristen Stewart. Is that her name?
Yep.
And
Kristen Stewart.
Like I had this repulsive type of
like almost like that.
Like
getting ready to vomit?
Oh no. Well, not quite that extreme, but it was the thought of, nice. Is she in this movie? That was that thought. But she's not. Yeah. She's not in the movie. There's a few things that I was pleasantly surprised at, and a few things that I felt were not quite as disturbing as the Twilight actress, but still kind of disturbing. So the good things I'll mention. Mainly theme. So this movie touches on love. You mentioned the husband-wife relationship.
Yeah.
So love being a commitment and struggling through obstacles and surviving. That you can't really argue that is the theme of the movie. Great theme, and they do it for the most part kind of well. I mean, it's definitely there.
Okay.
And also there's this kind of quasi theme of deception being the enemy of that relationship. So there's two instances where main instances where people are kind of deceived and by a third party. So the husband-wife team kind of breaks apart because of that, and then they have to overcome that deception, which is very interesting because of course you have deception. Like that's a real part of life, you know, deception. Right, and that was even in the Garden of Eden. The serpent deceives the woman. You know, ancient biblical theme that's all over the place. Mm-hmm. However, the way this movie presents it, I feel like almost puts the onus on the struggling for the relationship on the third party deception, rather than, because another true thing about real life is that people are just selfish sometimes. Like inside of that relationship, the love that you're trying to experience, whether it's husband wife or whether it's brother sister, whether it's any type of relationship, which is another thing that the movie kind of touches on, but that's more or less a negative, is the way that they kind of just focus on the sexual part of that relationship. But suffice it to say, good and bad there. And then just to top it all off with some of the negative things is just kind of peppered throughout. Maybe I shouldn't say peppered throughout. Just the story.
It's peppered.
The story is clumsy. Okay? Some of the characters, especially mentioning the relationships breaking apart, happens abruptly. It just happens stupidly abruptly.
Yeah.
There's one instance where it works really well, and that's at the very beginning, in my opinion. And there were some other things too with the story, like why are they doing that and whatnots and all that. So
Yeah. I would say a lot of the same things, honestly. Mm-hmm. Although I will say I'm probably going to take a little bit more of a negative aspect, like a whole negative outlook on this whole entire motion picture.
Just like slam it?
Yeah, you know,
It's all right.
I'm going to get up there and pile drive it.
Give us your honest thoughts.
Basically, this movie feels like a train wreck. Right, leaving the station up to the end when it docks at its place, it meets its destination. The humor, I didn't find very funny. There's multiple points where it feels like humor's trying to be forced into a situation where you're just like, that's awkward as crap. Like, that's not funny. But I'll laugh at how hard you tried to make it funny. So there is that.
I genuinely laughed at some point.
Okay, that's fine. You know, there's some stuff that I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't all dumb. There's some funny stuff, but then on top of that, the story just feels like it's all over the place. It feels like they just have like all these little plot devices in there to get the story moving in some kind of direction forward, but never really actually amounts to anything.
Right, like
Yeah,
the roller coaster ride seems forced.
The other thing that I don't like about the movie is that the movie, so I guess talking about a positive and then saying that it's also a negative, the movie is pro women, but then it's also in its own weird way not. Like, so I will say this. I feel like a good example of women being like empowered and showing their equality with men and things like that is Mad Max Fury Road. That is a great movie for that kind of message and theme. This movie feels like it's supposed to do that because you have like some nice women in main roles, but it just fails to deliver any kind of feeling of like, oh yeah, these women are good.
Yeah, it almost works the other way.
Yeah, it works against itself. Yeah. It makes you, by the end of the movie, I was like, man, these women just feel like sexual objects in this movie. And that's weird because the movie, I mean, well, I guess it's not weird because the movie does have multiple situations where the main female character is kind of put into a sexual
there's quite
encounter.
There's a few what we'll call cutaway sex scenes. There's like 3 of them.
Yeah, something like that.
2 or 3.
Yeah, which, I mean, whatever, but at the same time, it's like, that happens and it feels kind of forced like every single time. And it's like, is this just so that we can see the woman kind of like getting her shirt kind of pulled off a little bit kind of thing? You know, like it just feels like it's over-sexualized. And then the women who aren't, in like those sexual situations, it feels like the camera angles in the way is that they're supposed to be like made into like these sexy people, which I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. What I am saying though is that the way that it's presented, it feels like a negative pull down on like women being in authoritative positions.
Right.
You know, that's something negative about the movie, and just a ton of other stuff piled on this movie just makes it feel like a mess.
We should talk about more of these things in our in-depth discussion.
Yes.
So stay tuned for that, or click the whatever type of thing
link we have,
box link or whatever, because I agree with a lot of what you said. I love the theme and some stuff even with all its trouble. So I'm gonna probably go up to 6.
Okay.
6 on the
6
movie.
out of 10.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna hit it with a 3 out of 10. I'm gonna get brutal with this one.
Be brutal, man. Be brutal.
It does. I don't see it getting any higher than a 3.
Thank you for joining the dialogue for this episode. If you want to see more from us, subscribe. We're coming out with 2 new videos every week. Subscribe to the channel and join us next time on the dialogue.